Back in 1883, the U.S. Congress passed an act that authorized the War Department to provide troops for public land protection. Then, the extensive fires of 1910 solidified the U.S. Forest Service as the premier fire control organization. That summer, Idaho, Montana, and Washington all erupted in flames. By August, the infamous fire known as the Big Blow-Up was consuming and incinerating entire towns. Many residents were injured. 85 people were killed, including 78 firefighters. In fighting these horrific fires during that brutal 1910 summer, the U.S. Forest Service found its purpose. It became the lead federal land management fire protection agency. The National Park Service would soon follow this emphasis. A new culture of fire control was born. For the next 50 years, fire suppression reigned as this country's dominant wildland fire management strategy. Even so, total fire suppression also had its opponents. Starting in 1960, Roy Heatley, California's assistant district forester, implemented a program that allowed low-intensity fires that weren't threatening high-value timber or human improvements to spread out into remote areas. Heatley's proposal was based on trying to curtail the costs of fire suppression. In 1934, Heatley became Chief of Fire Control for the U.S. Forest Service. That same year, Ehlers Koch, Forest Supervisor on the Lolo National Forest, proposed that backcountry areas would not receive the same level of total fire control as front country areas. Forest Service wilderness advocates Aldo Leopold and Robert Marshall supported Koch's proposal. They were, however, overruled. Instead, the policy of extinguishing all fires by 10 a.m. the next burning period was implemented and rigorously enforced. For the next 40 years, this universal Forest Service suppression policy will reign supreme. During the 1930s, the National Park Service also made rumblings about curtailing the universal application of fire suppression to all lands. Ivan Skoyan, then superintendent at Glacier National Park, had seen firsthand the futile efforts to control large fires in remote backcountry areas. By 1950, Skoyan was the superintendent of Sequoia National Park. He supported designating a large landscape-scale research area here that would be excluded from fire suppression. His principle within this large, pre-identified area was accepted by his superiors. It marked an important exception to current policy. For the first time, the rationale for letting these natural fires burn was not just economic, it was also ecological. In 1964, George Briggs, Yosemite National Park's Assistant Chief Ranger, discovered a fire at 9,000 feet. In 4 days, it had burned only 1/10 of an acre. Based on this observation, Briggs recommended that if reconnaissance and evaluation showed that fires could be contained by natural fuel breaks and minimal harmful effects would result, all fires above 8,000 feet were not to be suppressed. While reduced suppression costs helped prompt this fire management policy, Yosemite's Assistant Ranger Briggs believed that allowing fire to perform its natural role was also a key ecological benefit. But this new concept was not a popular one. For 6 long years, Briggs' insightful recommendation was ignored by policymakers at the higher levels.